Welcome to the Midnight Library. I see you found your way here, despite the hour. Tell me, what time is it where you are? And where are you listening from?
I had been staring at the same blank page for 43 days. 43 mornings of making coffee, sitting at my desk, placing my fingers on the keyboard, and typing nothing. It wasn't just writer's block. It felt like my mind had been hollowed out, emptied of color, sound, and life. Every word I tried to string together fell apart before it made sense. I started to wonder if maybe my career, my passion, had quietly died without me noticing. But one Friday evening, my best friend Lila called. She'd been through every cycle of my writing moods before, but this time, she decided to change tactics. "Okay," she said, laughing. "If you can't write about life, maybe you should live it. Go download a dating app. Worst case, you get a free dinner. Best case, inspiration." I groaned. "You're suggesting I go fishing for plot twists in strangers?" "Exactly," she teased. "Your love life is too boring. You need a character worth writing about." Half as a joke, half out of desperate boredom, I downloaded the app. I didn't even try to look charming in my profile, just a few candid pictures and a bio that said, "I write stories, but my own is boring." That's when he appeared. His name was Adrian. His profile wasn't flashy, just black and white photos, hands working clay, tools scattered on a wooden table, the silhouette of a man standing in front of a sculpture. His bio simply said, "I capture beauty." Something about it was romantic, mysterious. We started chatting, and his messages had this poetic rhythm, as if he was sculpting his words as carefully as he shaped his art. He said he was a sculptor, inspired by the human form and unspoken stories. He never bragged, never overshared. I found myself checking my phone more than I wanted to admit. After a week, he invited me to his studio. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't in a bustling art district or a bright, airy loft. Instead, it was an old building tucked between warehouses on the edge of the city. The moment I stepped inside, the air was heavy with the smell of clay and dust. The lighting was dim, shadows pooling in the corners. On one side of the room stood his sculptures, dozens of them, mostly women, some lifelike, others abstract, all hauntingly detailed. Their eyes seemed to follow me. "They're beautiful," I said, stepping closer to one. A young woman with her head tilted slightly, as if listening to something only she could hear. "She was my first muse," he murmured from behind me. The way she stood in the park that day, reading her book, I knew I had to capture her. I turned to him. "She posed for you?" He smiled faintly. "Not exactly." The way he said it made something in my stomach shift, but I brushed it off. Artists are eccentric, I told myself. They see the world differently. Over the next few weeks, we met often. He was attentive, curious about my work. He'd ask about my stories, my characters, my process. And slowly, I started to write again. Not about him exactly, but inspired by the strange way he saw beauty. Raw, imperfect, unpolished. Then, one night, I noticed something. We were sitting in his studio, and I saw a stack of old Polaroids on a shelf. Out of habit, I reached for them, but he stopped me, his hand covering mine. "They're private," he said softly. I smiled, playing it off. But when he went to take a phone call in the other room, curiosity got the better of me. I slipped one photo from the stack. It was a photograph of a woman standing at a bus stop, looking over her shoulder. Her expression was tense, almost afraid. Another photo showed a woman jogging, her hair flying in the wind. Except the angle was wrong, too close, as if the photographer had been hiding in the bushes. The more I looked, the colder I felt. There were dozens of them, different women, all candid, none posed, none aware they were being photographed. When Adrian came back, I was holding the photo. My voice was shaking. "What is this?" He looked at me as if I'd just asked the dumbest question in the world. "My muses," he said simply. "You don't capture real beauty by asking for it. You take it when it's unaware of itself." My heart was pounding. "That's stalking." "It's art," he corrected, his tone calm, almost gentle. "They should feel honored, immortalized." That night, I couldn't sleep. I called the police the next morning, but the officer's voice was blunt. "If the women in the photos haven't filed complaints, there's nothing we can do." So I did the only thing I could. I wrote. The words poured out of me for the first time in months. I wrote about Adrian, about the women, about the danger of mistaking obsession for admiration. I never used his real name, but I described him so precisely that anyone who met him would know. It wasn't just a story anymore. It was a warning. I sent it to every publication I knew. Some rejected it. Some printed it. And somewhere out there, I hope one of his muses read it and realized they weren't alone in that lingering, uneasy feeling of being watched. I had found my inspiration again. But I didn't expect like this.
Another chapter closed. Leave the candle lit in the comments and tell us what part of the story stayed with you.